Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do week number 2 check-in. So every single week I like to lay down my expenses and then flick through a page I have set up with the weekly check-in, and then just check in a couple of the categories that usually are my categories that I tend to go over on. And that's the whole point of a weekly check-in, is that you check in on those categories that are fragile in your budget, and eating out being one that I always go over on. So I have a number of stickers here. You can see all of these are available from my shop. I have my no spends, which I'm hopeful that there is no spends, and then I have a bill due stickers, and that's exactly what it sounds like. You put what bill it is and how much is due, the amount that it is, and then I have a range of colors here, and that's what I use to track each of the spending categories. So we have eating out, sinking funds, petrol, and budgeted, and grocery. So without further ado, let's jump into it. As always, I have nothing prepared, so I do apologize. So we will just jump in with what we have. On the 8th, we had 2 expenses. So I'm going to zoom you in just a bit, and the first expense was from Dunnes, which is a grocery store here. So Dunnes Stores, and we spent €19.07 there. The next one was from a sinking fund, and I basically just bought dog food, and I've spent €56. So those both were the 8th, which you can see is displayed here. So 1907 from groceries, and then the sinking fund of 56. Okay, then on to the 9th. The 9th we had medical from the medical sinking fund, and it was €15.10. And then we also have one, I have like a house miscellaneous one now. It's new for it's new for 2021. So I'm just going to put Miss, and it was €4.34. Okay, so then on to the 11th is our next one. So on the 11th we had some more groceries. There's lots of groceries going on this week. We went to Tesco's, and it was €9.30. Then on the 12th we had Lidl, and it was $42.85. We on the 13th went back to Lidl because I decided I was going to batch cook then with the money that I had left over in the envelope, and I did that, and I have a video on my other channel, Or Irish Family, and if you want to see that, do go over there, because I do batch cook. Now it's my very first time batch cooking, and it did take a very long time, but I do think I liked it. Possibly. Okay, so Tesco's was the first one, €9.30. Then to the 12th, we had the main bulk of our shopping in Lidl, 42. And then, as I said, I did then decide that I wanted to batch cook. So I went to Lidl to get everything, but of course they were out of 2 items, so then I went to Tesco's to get those. Then the final thing for this week happened on the 14th, and it was a bill, and it was Robert's mobile phone, which I am changing in a couple of months. The contract that we're under is up in May, and I'm changing that because it's never the price it's supposed to be. Anyways, 1637 is what our air bill was. So what I'm going to do just before I go in and do the check-in side of things is zoom is out. So I'm going to put down no spends. So for me, no spend is any day that we only spend, why can't I say this? A no spend day, I'm so tongue tied and I'm looking at the window. A no spend day is any day where a bill or groceries or petrol come out. So they're the three categories that are okay for me to say that that's a no spend. If you're a long time viewer, you will know that that is completely different from last year, where last year I said it's any day that nothing besides a bill comes out. So this year I added groceries and petrol, and that's only if they are within the budgeted amount. So I still don't know how I feel about this. I kind of think it's cheating a little bit, but then at the same time it's like those are essential things, like getting food is essential. But when you're doing stuff like 3 days in a row of going to the shop, is that essential, you know? So let me know how you do your no spends. Do you do it like me now, where if you spend on groceries or petrol, it's still considered a no spend? Or do you do it like my old way, and realistically the only days that would have been this week a no spend day are the 14th and this day, where we actually spent no money at all? We're obviously aiming for these days where we spend zero money. Sorry, these stickers are like an off cut because I cut too deep on them, so that's why I'm using them. Yeah, so essentially if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no spend days. These days we spent from our sinking fund, so they don't count. But we had 1 day with nothing, and then these days have groceries, which are okay, and then we had the bill on the 14th where we actually spent zero money as well, like physically spent money. So that's good. So now we go on to move on to the actual check-in side of things. So again, just zoom in. So we have grocery, petrol, eating out, and unbudgeted. So for grocery we had 1907. Actually, you know what, I'm going to do it on my phone calculator because you're probably going to be able to see that just a bit better. So let's see, we had 1907. Yeah, you can see that. 1907, then we had 930. 42.85. 165. 1721. So it makes €90.08. So if we take that from the 340.39, we're left with €250.31. Next up we have petrol, and there was no petrol cost this week, so we still have €129 left to spend there. Next we had eating out, and there was no eating out, so we still have €40. And then also unbudgeted, there was no unbudgeted, so we have no unbudgeted. So that's how the first 2 weeks are looking. I think that's a really good week. I did try, I'm not gonna lie, Robert's in work most of the time, so you know, he obviously doesn't get the opportunities to spend, but because I'm at home and I'm working from home, and then also we're in lockdown here, lockdown is helping a lot, because I don't feel the need to go to the shop as much, because I mentioned this before, but COVID is extremely rampant here now. We have the new strains, which are the UK and the South African one. And in first lockdown, the maximum amount of people per day that had COVID through testing. Now we test all the time. We never stopped the amount of testing that we did. But the first lockdown, it was like 1,000 people per day. And now we're up to, well, we're back down to like 4,000 now, but we were up to like 7,000 or 8,000. So yeah, like everybody's catching COVID. So yeah, where was I going with this? I think COVID is helping because, you know, I don't go to the shop that much besides from 3 days in a row here, obviously. But it's a really good week, like the best week I've had in a very long time, I want to say. So yeah, delighted with the way that is going. And that is it, guys. That is today's video. I do hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, I would love if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new here, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.